The sky above Earth's largest interstellar spaceport was ablaze with the brilliant trails of spacecraft descending from the cosmos. Today marked the 5th anniversary of humanity's induction into the Galactic Council, a milestone celebrated with pomp and color. Flags of myriad worlds fluttered in the breeze alongside the blue and white of Earth, symbolizing a union of civilizations in the vast expanse of space. Captain Leo Martins, a tall figure with an easy smile and eyes accustomed to the depths of space, maneuvered through the crowd. As one of Earth's most renowned interstellar pilots, Leo had flown through wormholes and navigated star systems that ancient astronomers could only have dreamed of. His uniform, adorned with medals of valor and exploration, often drew admiring glances, but today his focus was elsewhere. Suddenly, the festive atmosphere was shattered by a thunderous roar overhead. A spacecraft, its hull scorched and emitting ominous sparks, tore through Earth's atmosphere at a reckless speed. Alarms blared, and the crowd's awe turned to panic as the spaceport's emergency systems sprang into action. "Control, this is Captain Martins. I have a visual on the incoming craft. It's off course and looks like it's going to crash. I'm heading to the site now," Leo reported into his communicator as he sprinted towards his vehicle, a high-speed rover parked at the edge of the plaza. As he drove toward the anticipated impact site, Leo's mind raced. The ship was unlike any design he recognized, not one of the sleek vessels typical of the Galactic Council's members. His rover kicked up dust as it skidded to a halt near the smoking crater where the spacecraft had crashed. The hull was alien, marked with strange symbols that glowed faintly in the twilight. Leo donned his helmet and activated its built-in respiratory and bioscan functions before approaching the wreck. The air was thick with the acrid scent of burning metal, and an eerie, pulsating hum emanated from within the ship. The hull had been breached in several places, and as Leo peered inside, he caught sight of movement, shadows that seemed too agile, too purposeful to be mere survivors. "Martins to base. I need a containment team and xenobiologists at my location stat. We've got potential non-human life forms here. Be advised, they might be hostile," he transmitted, his voice calm despite the adrenaline surging through his veins. Within minutes, the area was cordoned off by security forces, and a team of scientists arrived, their equipment ready to analyze and contain any threats. As Leo briefed them on the situation, a low growl resonated from the wreckage, freezing everyone in place. From the twisted shadows of the ship's interior emerged a creature, its size and features obscured by the dim light. It was large, its eyes reflecting the emergency lights like a predator's in the night. Instead of attacking, it paused, tilting its head as if studying Leo and the team. Leo held his ground, his experience as a pilot and explorer reminding him that fear often provoked violence in unknown species. He slowly removed his helmet, a gesture of trust and vulnerability, and addressed the creature with a steady, open tone. "We are not here to harm you. We wish to help," he said, hoping his voice conveyed the sincerity of his intent. The creature stared at him, its breathing heavy and labored from injury or fear, then retreated slightly back into the shadows of the wreckage. As the containment team moved in cautiously, Leo knew that the events of today would resonate far beyond the festivities of the spaceport. Humanity was once again at the precipice of the unknown, facing a new chapter that could redefine their place in the cosmos. The decisions made in the next few hours would be critical, and as always, Leo was ready to face them head-on. Under the floodlights that bathed the crash site in stark, artificial daylight, Captain Leo Martins coordinated the secure perimeter with military precision. Tensions were high among the gathered soldiers and scientists, each aware that the crashed vessel's occupants were beyond any earthly understanding. Dr. Helen Zhao, a leading xenobiologist, approached Leo, clutching a tablet filled with preliminary data. "Captain, the creatures from the ship aren't in any galactic database. They're not just alien. They're unknown," she said, her voice a mixture of excitement and concern. Leo surveyed the area, his eyes settling on the breached hull of the alien ship. "Could they be a threat?" he asked, pondering the strategic implications. "Potentially," Helen admitted. "But initial scans suggest they're more confused and injured than hostile. We need to establish communication, figure out what they want." As they strategized, a sudden commotion drew their attention. A creature, larger and more menacing than any terrestrial predator, had emerged from the ship. Its scales shimmered under the floodlights, and its eyes glowed with a piercing intelligence. Security forces raised their weapons, but Leo held up a hand, signaling them to hold fire. "We need it alive and unharmed," he reminded them, stepping forward with a calmness he didn't feel. The creature watched him, its head tilting as if evaluating his intentions. "Dr. Zhao, any idea how to communicate with it?" Leo asked, without taking his eyes off the alien. "We're trying different frequencies and patterns. It's like nothing we've dealt with," she replied, her team adjusting their equipment frantically. Leo took a slow, deliberate step closer. "We're not here to hurt you," he spoke clearly, hoping the creature's apparent intelligence might grasp his intentions if not his words. The alien made a low, rumbling sound, its stance relaxing slightly. It was a small victory, but a crucial one. Helen and her team managed to set up a makeshift communication array, broadcasting basic mathematical sequences and patterns, a universal language of sorts. After tense minutes, the creature responded with a series of sounds that the equipment started to analyze. "It's trying to communicate," Helen exclaimed, her voice a mix of relief and wonder. Leo watched the alien, considering their next move. "Keep talking to it, Helen. Whatever it's saying, let's figure it out fast." The creature became increasingly animated, its sounds growing in complexity. Suddenly, it stepped back, its gaze shifting skyward. Following its gaze, Leo saw what had caught its attention. More ships, similar in design to the crashed one, were breaking through the atmosphere. "Looks like we've got more company," Leo said grimly, reaching for his communicator. "This just turned into an interstellar incident. We need reinforcements." As the new ships landed smoothly, unlike the rough crash of the first, Leo prepared to meet what could only be more of the alien species. This time, the creatures that disembarked were varied in size and appearance, but all bore the same distinctive, glowing eyes. Armed but cautious, they formed a perimeter around their crashed counterpart, which now seemed less like a threat and more like a lost member of their pack. Their presence was formidable, but their actions were defensive, not aggressive. Leo stepped forward again, his hand raised in peace. "We've established contact with one of your kind. We wish to help," he declared, relying on the translation devices now running at full capacity. The leader of the new arrivals, a towering figure with ornate markings on its scales, responded in a deep, resonant tone that the device translated haltingly. "We seek sanctuary. Pursued across stars. Refuge needed," the translation scrolled. Leo nodded, understanding flooding him. "Sanctuary is yours if you come in peace," he replied, aware of the historic weight his words carried. The leader dipped its head, a gesture of assent. Around them, soldiers lowered their weapons, and scientists stepped forward with their instruments, ready to assist their new guests. As the Galactic Council was alerted and Earth's leaders briefed, Leo realized they stood on the brink of a new era. These aliens, once thought to be predators sent to Earth, were now guests seeking shelter. It was a testament to the unpredictability of the cosmos and humanity's place within it. This chapter would close on Earth now hosting a new species, with potential allies who had seen too much war. Leo felt a resolve settle within him. They would navigate this new reality together, forging a path of mutual respect and understanding amidst the stars. As the sun crested the horizon, casting long shadows over the bustling cityscape, an undercurrent of fear rippled through the populace of Earth. News of the alien arrival had spread like wildfire, stoking both wonder and apprehension. The creatures, now known as the Valari, were guests of Earth, seeking sanctuary from cosmic threats. However, not all had been contained at the spaceport. One of the Valari, a particularly formidable specimen, had escaped into the urban expanse. Captain Leo Martins, who had become the unofficial liaison between humanity and the Valari, was abruptly called away from the diplomatic discussions. A situation was unfolding downtown that required his immediate attention. Strapping into his vehicle, Leo raced towards the chaos, his mind racing with protocols on how to handle a frightened, potentially dangerous alien predator loose in a densely populated area. Upon arrival, Leo was met with a scene of pandemonium. The escaped Valari had inadvertently caused destruction, its massive, agile body easily overturning vehicles and shattering storefronts as it tried to evade the growing crowds. Police and emergency services struggled to maintain a perimeter, while curious and terrified civilians pushed against the barriers, trying to catch a glimpse of the alien. Leo pushed through the throngs, his authority parting the sea of people as he made his way to the front lines. There he found the Valari cornered in a public square, its sides heaving with heavy breaths, eyes wild with confusion and fear. Leo could see the intelligence there, the same intelligence that had allowed them to plea for sanctuary, now clouded by panic. "Everyone, back off. Give it space," Leo commanded, his voice amplified by the speaker system of a nearby police cruiser. He approached the Valari slowly, hands raised in a gesture of peace. "We're not going to hurt you. You're safe," he said soothingly, hoping to calm the creature. The Valari's gaze fixed on Leo, its body language shifting subtly as it assessed his intent. Leo kept his movements deliberate and non-threatening, drawing on his brief but intense experiences with these beings. His approach was a gamble, based on the trust he had started to build with their leaders. As the standoff continued, Dr. Helen Zhao arrived with a team of xenobiologists, equipped with tranquilizers not to harm, but to help if the situation escalated. "Leo, we need to sedate it before it lashes out or hurts itself," Helen proposed quietly, coming up beside him. Leo nodded, understanding the necessity. "Do it gently," he instructed, his eyes never leaving the Valerie. As the tranquilizer was administered, the creature's muscles relaxed, and its eyes dimmed with drowsiness before it collapsed onto the soft grass of the square, now silent but for the murmur of the crowd and the distant wail of sirens. With the immediate crisis averted, Leo turned to address the onlookers, his voice carrying clear and firm. "This creature, this being, came to us in need of help, fleeing dangers we can barely comprehend. We must show compassion, not fear. We must be the sanctuary they sought, not another threat they need to escape from." His words seemed to resonate with the crowd, a murmur of agreement rippling through the gathered masses. As the Valari was carefully transported back to the secured facility, Leo felt a cautious optimism. Perhaps this incident would serve as a crucial lesson for all of humanity. In the days that followed, Leo worked tirelessly to bridge the gap between the Valari and humanity. He facilitated meetings, helped organize cultural exchanges, and advocated for patience and understanding. The city slowly adapted to its new guests, curiosity gradually replacing fear. As Leo watched Earth's citizens and the Valari learning to coexist, he couldn't help but reflect on the fragile beauty of trust. It was a delicate thing, easily shattered, but when nurtured, it had the power to transform fear into friendship. This incident had tested that trust, but it had held, and now it was stronger for the trial. The days following the chaotic encounter in the city center marked a turning point in human-Valari relations. With the initial panic subsiding, Captain Leo Martins focused his efforts on fostering a deeper understanding between the two species. The city, once a battleground of fear and confusion, began to transform into a living laboratory of interspecies cooperation. At the heart of this transformation was the secure facility where the Valari were housed. The complex, equipped with advanced technology for communication and environmental control, became a hub for scientists, diplomats, and curious visitors from around the globe. Leo, often found at the center of activity, worked closely with Dr. Helen Zhao and a team of experts dedicated to studying, and more importantly, understanding the Valari. One creature in particular had caught Leo's attention, the same Valari that had been tranquilized in the public square, whom the team had begun to call Argo, displayed signs of higher cognitive functions and emotions akin to human understanding. Leo saw in Argo not just a subject of study, but a potential bridge between their worlds. Argo seems to respond to specific gestures and tones. It's like he's tuning into our emotions, our intentions, Leo observed to Helen as they watched the creature through a one-way mirror. Argo was interacting with a variety of objects in his enclosure, demonstrating problem-solving skills that impressed all who watched. "We've noticed that too," Helen replied, jotting down notes on her tablet. "His species communicates through a complex mixture of sounds and body language. We're making progress on the lexicon. It's rudimentary, but it's a start." Encouraged by these developments, Leo proposed, and was granted, permission to interact directly with Argo. Accompanied by a safety team, he entered the enclosure, his heart pounding with a mix of excitement and trepidation. The moment was charged with a palpable intensity, a feeling of stepping into a new chapter of human history. "Hello, Argo," Leo said softly, using the name they had given him. The Valari turned, its piercing eyes fixing on Leo. There was a moment of silence, a breath held in collective anticipation by all who observed. Argo moved slowly towards Leo, his steps deliberate. Leo remained still, his every instinct screaming against the primal fear of the unknown. Then, quite unexpectedly, Argo extended a limb, touching Leo gently. It was a gesture that, to Leo, felt unmistakably like curiosity, perhaps even trust. The days that followed were filled with breakthroughs. Argo began to mimic human gestures, and with the aid of a specially designed translation device, he started to communicate in basic, albeit broken, human language. "Friend," Argo learned to say, his voice rough and guttural, but unmistakably gentle. Leo spent hours every day with Argo, their sessions broadcasted to the world. People watched, fascinated as a human and an alien learned to communicate, to express kindness, and to show mutual respect. This unfolding relationship captivated audiences, transforming fear into fascination and hostility into hope. Meanwhile, the wider community of Valari, encouraged by Argo's interactions, began to open up more to human contact. Other members of Argo's species started to engage with the researchers, each breakthrough with one Valari leading to advancements with others. As the relationship between the two species deepened, so did their cultural and technological exchanges. The Valari shared knowledge of their technology, vastly more advanced than human tech, offering solutions to long-standing problems like energy consumption and disease treatment. Leo marveled at the rapid progression of their joint endeavors. "We sought to understand them, and now they are helping us leap forward in ways we couldn't have imagined," he reflected during a briefing with global leaders. His experiences with Argo had not only opened the door to new friendships, but it also paved the way for unprecedented interstellar cooperation. In this newfound partnership, Earth found not only new allies but also a new vision of what it meant to be a part of the galactic community. The once feared predators were now partners, their presence a testament to the power of empathy and understanding. Leo, a simple pilot turned interstellar ambassador, had helped guide humanity into a new era, proving that even the most formidable beasts could be tamed with patience and respect. Weeks after Earth began its remarkable partnership with the Valari, Captain Leo Martins found himself embroiled in an unfolding mystery that threatened to undermine the fragile trust he had worked so hard to build. While Earth celebrated its new allies and the technological advancements they brought, Leo couldn't shake the feeling that there were still unanswered questions about the Valari's arrival. Determined to find the truth, Leo worked with Dr. Helen Zhao and her team to analyze the wreckage of the Valari's original spacecraft. Hidden deep within the ship's encrypted data logs, they discovered shocking evidence. The Valari had been deliberately sent to Earth as part of a covert operation by a mysterious faction within the Galactic Council. The logs suggest that someone wanted to use the Valari as a test, to see how Earth would handle a potential threat, Helen explained as they pored over the data in a secure lab. It looks like they underestimated humanity's response. Leo felt a surge of anger and betrayal. The Council was supposed to ensure peace and cooperation among the galaxy's diverse civilizations, not orchestrate secret tests on unsuspecting planets. "We need to bring this to the Council's attention. They have to answer for this," he said firmly. With solid evidence in hand, Leo and a delegation from Earth traveled to the Galactic Council's headquarters, a massive space station orbiting a neutral star. The council consisted of representatives from hundreds of star systems, each with their own agendas and politics. Leo's task was to navigate this complex landscape and expose the conspiracy without causing a diplomatic uproar. During the council session, Leo presented the evidence with clear and controlled outrage. "This was a breach of trust and the council's own charter. We demand accountability and transparency," he declared to the assembly. The chamber buzzed with whispers and murmurs as representatives processed the implications of his words. The leader of the council, a wise old being known as Oran from the planet Sirian, called for calm. "This is a serious accusation. We will investigate these claims thoroughly. Justice will be served where it is due," Oran promised, his voice echoing through the hall. The council agreed to set up an independent inquiry to delve deeper into the conspiracy. Meanwhile, news of the scandal spread across the galaxy, stirring up a mixture of sympathy for Earth and outrage at the manipulation by unknown council factions. Back on Earth, Leo had to manage the fallout of the revelation. He held press conferences and public forums to reassure both humans and Valerie that the actions of a few would not destroy the bonds they had formed. "Our unity is our strength," Leo often said, a mantra that resonated across communities and media. As the inquiry progressed, it became clear that the conspiracy was deeper and more complex than anyone had guessed. Several high-ranking members of the council were implicated, having believed that testing Earth's resolve would provide a measure of the planet's readiness to face galactic-scale threats. Their actions, however misguided, were meant to gauge Earth's potential as a strategic ally or liability. The final report of the inquiry was a damning indictment of the rogue elements within the council. Sanctions were levied and reforms proposed to prevent such abuses of power in the future. Earth's handling of the situation, particularly Leo's leadership and diplomacy, earned the planet newfound respect and a more prominent role in galactic affairs. In the aftermath, as the political dust settled, Leo reflected on the journey from first contact to a major political victory. The bonds with the Valerie had not just survived the ordeal, they had been strengthened by the shared struggle for justice. Earth was no longer just another member of the galaxy. It was a key player, ready to contribute to and shape the future of the Galactic Council. With peace restored and alliances solidified, Leo looked toward the horizon, ready for whatever challenges the stars might hold. His experience had taught him that even in the vastness of space, integrity, courage, and unity could illuminate the darkest of plots. The revelations of the Galactic Council's conspiracy had left the political climate within the galaxy turbulent and unstable. While Earth had gained respect and a stronger voice within the Council, it also found itself thrust into the spotlight, a position that came with its own sets of risks and responsibilities. Captain Leo Martins, now seen as a key figure in galactic diplomacy, felt the weight of these new expectations heavily. In the wake of the political upheaval, intelligence reports began to surface of a potential new threat. An extremist faction within one of the Council's species, displeased with Earth's rising influence, was rumored to be planning an attack to undermine human Valerie unity and Earth's newfound status. Taking no chances, Leo spearheaded the preparations to defend against any such aggression. Back on Earth, Leo and Dr. Helen Zhao collaborated closely with the Valerie to integrate their advanced technology with human systems. This included enhancements to Earth's orbital defenses and the construction of several new interstellar warships equipped with hybrid technology. Training programs were initiated, combining human military tactics with Valerie combat strategies, creating a formidable defense force ready to protect Earth and its allies. Meanwhile, Leo also focused on building a ground force. He established training camps where human soldiers and Valerie warriors could learn from each other, blending their strengths and tactics. The Valerie, with their superior agility and strength, taught humans new forms of hand-to-hand combat, while human officers trained the Valerie in strategic and large-scale battle planning. One of the central figures in this new force was Argo, the Valerie who had first bonded with Leo. Argo had shown a keen understanding of human emotions and strategy, making him an excellent liaison between the two species. Under Leo and Argo's leadership, the joint force quickly grew into a cohesive and elite unit, embodying the unity and cooperation that had become the hallmark of Earth-Valerie relations. As the preparations intensified, Leo also worked to ensure that the civilian population was prepared and protected. Public evacuation drills were conducted and shelters were reinforced. Communication channels were kept open, providing regular updates to keep the public informed and calm. Leo understood that maintaining public morale and trust was crucial in ensuring the stability and resilience of Earth's societies. The climax of their preparations came when Leo organized a large-scale simulation, a mock battle involving both space and ground forces. The exercise was designed to test the readiness of the Earth-Valerie alliance to respond to any hostile actions effectively. It took place in a remote area, closely monitored by tactical experts from both species. During the simulation, the joint forces demonstrated impressive coordination and effectiveness. Space units adeptly maneuvered through attack and defense scenarios, while ground troops successfully repelled invasions with minimal casualties. Observers from various council races noted the proficiency and unity of the Earth-Valerie forces, broadcasting these observations back to their home planets. The success of the simulation was a clear message to any would-be aggressors. Earth and its allies were not only prepared, but also powerful and united. The display of military prowess and interstellar cooperation further solidified Earth's position in the Council, with several previously neutral or skeptical species expressing their support and admiration. As Leo watched the forces celebrate their success, he felt a cautious optimism. They had prepared as best they could, building not just a military alliance but a symbol of interstellar unity and strength. However, he knew that the real test would come not on training fields, but on the battlefield, under real threat. The stage was set for whatever challenges lay ahead. Leo and his allies had done everything in their power to ensure they were ready. Now, all they could do was wait, watch, and hope that their preparations would be enough to preserve the peace they had worked so hard to achieve. The tension that had been building reached its zenith when a coalition of radical factions launched a coordinated assault on Earth. The attack came from multiple vectors, both in space and on the ground, a clear attempt to overwhelm Earth's defenses and destabilize the burgeoning Earth-Valerie alliance. Captain Leo Martins, who had been preparing for such a scenario, took command of the planetary defenses, his calm demeanor instilling confidence amidst the chaos. In orbit, Earth's newly enhanced fleet, a mix of human and Valari technology, engaged the enemy. The attackers, surprised by the sophistication and firepower of Earth's ships, found themselves at a disadvantage. Leo, aboard the flagship, coordinated the defense, deploying ships with strategic precision. The Valari's agility and combat tactics proved invaluable, turning what could have been a dire onslaught into a manageable skirmish. Meanwhile, on the surface, the joint ground forces, led by Leo and Argo, faced the ground invasion. The enemy had deployed ground troops at several strategic locations, aiming to seize control of major cities and military installations. However, the training and preparations of the Earth Valari forces paid off. Utilizing guerrilla tactics and leveraging the unique terrain knowledge of the humans, alongside the brute strength and sensory capabilities of the Valari, the defenders were able to stall and then repel the attackers. One of the most intense battles occurred in the outskirts of a major metropolitan area, where Leo personally led a critical counteroffensive. With Argo by his side, they orchestrated a daring pincer movement that surprised the invading forces, cutting off their advance. Throughout the fight, Leo's leadership shone as he made split-second decisions that saved lives and gradually turned the tide in their favor. As the battle raged, Leo received word that a particularly fierce skirmish was unfolding in a sector critical for Earth's space defense network. Without hesitation, he deployed a special unit, including several Valari warriors who had mastered human military technology, to reinforce the area. Their arrival was timely, and their impact was immediate, helping to secure the network and ensure the continued functioning of Earth's orbital defenses. Back in space, the turning point came when Leo devised a bold strategy to trap the enemy fleet between two flanks, one composed entirely of human ships and the other of Valari vessels. This maneuver, executed with precision, effectively split the enemy's forces, allowing them to be picked off in detail. The enemy, realizing their defeat was imminent, began to retreat, their ships darting away into the safety of hyperspace. The aftermath of the Battle of Unity, as it came to be known, was a time for reflection and rebuilding. Earth and its cities had suffered damage, but the spirit of the people was unbroken. The successful defense against such a formidable attack reinforced the bonds between humans and Valari, proving that together they were stronger than they could ever be apart. In the days following the battle, celebrations erupted across the planet, not only for the victory, but for the promise it represented. Humanity and the Valari, once unlikely allies, had not only survived a severe trial by fire, but had emerged stronger, their futures irrevocably intertwined. Leo, hailed as a hero, knew that this victory was more than just a military triumph. It was a monumental achievement in the journey of interspecies cooperation and mutual respect. Earth had not only defended itself against aggression, but it also solidified its place as a pivotal member of the galactic community. The battle had been won, but the journey of integration and collaboration was just beginning, with Earth now leading the way toward a more unified galactic future.